young.
I am
And I am a young
black.
A young black.
Young.
Black.
A young black
Black equestrian.
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 Black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
equestrian.
Black equestrian.
I'm a young black equestrian.
I am a young black equestrian.
Today we are here with Michelle Rosemond. She's going to talk to us about her experience in the horse industry, as well as give us some natural hair tips as we make the second portion of our hair and helmet kind of video series. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. So welcome to the show, Michelle.
Hi, thank y'all so much for having me. I am so excited to finally get to sit down and talk with y'all. This whole thing is just, I think I've told you before, just having a space for us is just so mind-blowing. It just warms my heart. I just love that y'all have done this. So really, really happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. And I was just telling Michelle, she has been supporter from the beginning. I don't even remember at what point, but I always commenting, sharing this stuff, always. I always see Michelle Rosemond, share this, Michelle that. And so
it's so important.
The support is there, and we are so thankful for it, because we know that not everybody does, or they'll support us with lip service and not with actual actions, engagement, and things. So thank you so much for that.
Of course.
So let's go ahead and get started. If you want to just tell us about yourself and where you're located and what discipline you ride.
Okay, so I am in Houston, Texas. So I have been riding for a really long time. I started out, I guess my discipline technically was trail riding / endurance. I ride out here in Cypress Trails in Houston, Texas. If you are familiar with any type of endurance riding, you know who Darylyn Butler is. Darylyn Butler is the owner of the barn that I ride at, and she is wonderful. I did some endurance racing with her, mostly doing trail rides, and I did some training with her as far as getting some horses ready for trail, that type of thing. Now I am transitioning into dressage, which is a huge challenge, and I've always wanted to do it. So I'm doing dressage now under my new trainer, Horse of Course Stables in Conroe. My trainer is Alexa Cap, so she's wonderful. So that's what I'm up to now.
Nice. I bet. We've talked about this, I have endurance goals, man, but I need time. Okay. It takes a lot of time.
The funnest thing. It really is so fun. It's such a challenge, but once you complete that race, I've only done a 30-mile race. So I've only done just the tip of the iceberg. I have friends that have done hundreds, and Darylyn's done millions of hundreds and things like that. So I haven't even gotten into the real endurance stuff, but even just doing that 30, the accomplishment, just the feeling of accomplishment that you get from that is out of this world. So it's a great sport.
Yeah. I have tracked our fun trail rides we do on the weekends. And I think the longest one that we've done is 6.5 miles. Nothing compared to, but it is hard riding. I feel the difference, which I'm not 100% sure, but some endurance riding is it's the trail is meant for that. Not just going through the woods because somebody decided to go around this side of the tree and then we could just go up this big hill. It's kind of different from our kind of trail riding, which is challenge riding sometimes.
And mostly in endurance, especially with the races now, the races are mostly held in the same spots every year. So there are dedicated trails for that kind of stuff. And before the races come up, they're trimming back hedges, they're moving logs and things like that. Not all of them. So some of them do have where if there's a log there, you better jump it. Like,
Jump it. Yeah.
Do what you got to do. And if there are branches, just move a mile away. But for the most part, it's pretty clear. And you just keep going. You just do what you got to do. Get through it.
Yeah.
What kind of horses are you riding?
Oh my goodness. So I am in love with Arabian horses, and that is totally Endurance's fault. I love those hot-blooded, just feisty, spirited horses. I love, love, love them. And I got really lucky because Alexa at Horse of Course, she has an Arabian at her barn. It's so funny. She's bred to the T. She has a wonderful bloodlines, but she is such a potato. She's an Arab, but she's just not what I'm used to. But I love their movement. I love their faces. I love their personalities. But I do have one favorite horse at the trail riding barn, and his name's Crow. He is a Tennessee Walker, so just came out of left field. Yes, I know everybody. Yes. So
yes. I need to do a poll. I need to do a poll. How many people have walking horses?
Yes. And let me tell you, we're around family, so I feel like I can tell you this. I was so like not wanting to get on the whole like Tennessee walking horse kind of thing, because for me, a big passion of mine is to get more Black people into English riding, because for the most part, if we are getting into riding at all, the most accessible way to get into it is in a Western discipline.
Yeah.
In a lot of Western disciplines, there's a lot of gaited horses, a lot of walkers, things like that. So I was like, no, I'm not going to like this horse. No, I want to stick with my Arabs, and I just really want to do my English thing. But this horse just came out of left field, fell head over heels in love with him, couldn't help it. And that's my baby. So maybe one day I'll purchase him, but, still waiting to figure things out.
The guy that runs the Compton Cowboys also has a walking horse.
Yep.
Just saying. Fun facts. But I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you on that though. Like one of my things growing up with my horse, since I've had him at such a young age, was getting into disciplines that you don't see walking horses in. Just because one, I wanted, I'm probably still going to be the only Black person there, but right. Two, I could be there and I got my walking horse and everybody's like confused, but I'm still kind of doing the thing. So, I did look into some of the gaited dressage and, or cowboy dressage, something like that. They call it different things. But nobody around here really does it. And I just haven't had the time to kind of pursue that. But I admire, anything to get us in the door,
Exactly. And that was my biggest thing is I wanted to do maybe the gaited dressage with Crow, but that's it's not as widespread as I would like it to be. So it's kind of harder to get to shows and things like that because they're not so close by. But another thing that a lot of people are doing with their walkers and their gaited horses now is a lot of like working equestrian. I think that's what you call it. It's like competitive trail riding. It's that kind of thing where you like kind of open gates and like go through like little obstacles and stuff. And those horses are so incredibly smart, and I just totally see them excelling at that. So
I got my horse. I got my horse to push a gate this past weekend. And I think he got so worked up because I got worked up because he pushed it one time and I was like, yes, good boy. And he pushed that dang thing and it bounced back and he's like, and I was like,
oh my gosh.
My bad. We got too hyped. We got too hyped about this.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to my questions. So how did you get into horses in the first place?
Oh my goodness. So it was a crazy story. It kind of was like a love at first sight thing. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. When I was 11, my mom bought a house. I wish.
I was like, well, there you go.
She bought a house in a new neighborhood. It was like the first house for us. We've been in apartments for a while. So she bought this house, and me and my sister were just kind of making friends with the neighborhood kids. And we went to one girl's house and she had a weird looking helmet hanging on her wall. And so I said, what's that helmet for? And she was like, oh, I ride horses. And she showed me some pictures of her on a horse and told me that she went riding at the barn right up the street. And I mean, instantly, I was just like, horses. So I, started watching Saddle Club on TV, and I was asking my mom to go to like horse camp for a few months and things like that. It ended up not panning out for horse camp, but my mom found a stable. She actually is a nurse, so she had a patient that had horses, and so she went and took me out to go meet this horse, and she didn't want me to ride it yet. She let me pet it and feed it some carrots, and she thought that was going to be enough. Wasn't enough. So she ended up finding the barn down the street that the little girl was riding at, which turned out to be Cypress Trails. I went up there and took my first ride, and I just fell head over heels in love with it and haven't looked back since.
Oh, that's nice. Nice that you're still at the same barn.
Yes, and it's wonderful because that barn actually has a volunteer program where they give you $5 in virtual money to volunteer for them every hour, so $5 an hour in something called horse bucks, and you can save up and buy your lessons. So that's how I spent my summers. I would just work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., save all of my little horse bucks. Actually, one moment, hang on one second.
I am writing that down. That is amazing.
So these are horse bucks. I actually found them in my old fanny pack a long time ago, but I would work my entire life all day for these little $5 horse bucks at Cypress Trails, and I would save them up and buy lessons. I would buy trail rides. I would even save them up for a long time and lease a horse for a whole month. So what Darylyn gave me at Cypress Trails is just invaluable, like just the opportunity to work my way and have access to horses when otherwise I wouldn't have been able to. So
I think I say this every time someone shares with us how they were able to afford lessons. It's usually as like working at the farm, so you can afford it. And it's like you gotta do what you gotta do, but y'all are awesome because you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would ride my bike up there. Would be a 30-minute bike ride, but I would ride my bike up there, feed the horses at 7, feed them again at 7 p.m. and ride back home. So. But it taught me a lot. It was invaluable. So,
yeah, that is such a cool method, because sometimes people say like volunteering, you don't get the same work ethic out of volunteers because they're not getting paid.
Oh, I completely disagree.
Well, yeah, well, if it's a system like this where they are still earning something outside of just like the experience, I think that's like the turning point right there. Like you still get them working towards a goal, like it's tangible, they can see it, right? And then they benefit from it. They get a lesson, they get leads, like
And really what Darylyn was doing was really investing in us, because once I came of age, I did go back and work for actual money, but I was a trained employee at that point. I put in my hours, I put in my time, and now I was a valuable employee. So she really invested in me. And the investment came back because I was able to work for her.
That's awesome. I wrote that on my sticky notes because I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that.
Yeah, it was great.
So what are some of the challenges that you have faced in your journey in the horse world?
So I mean, I feel like I have faced a certain level of discrimination. I have been one of those grooms, wranglers that has had the knowledge but not been given the opportunity before, just because of how I look or that I may not have the same ideologies. I'm very in the way I present myself, and I do this on purpose. Everywhere that I go, I am very pro-Black, and I do that for a reason, because I don't feel like I should have to cover anything up of myself. I don't feel like I should have to be conform to anything to get opportunities. So I make that a habit of mine to make sure that I, there's a way that you speak to me, you come correct, and and that's what it is. So I feel like because of that, because I have been so vocal about being pro-Black and things like that, I haven't had as many opportunities as other Black people that may not have been that may have been more willing to change their convictions. So yeah, so there have been moments and times where I've been passed over for certain things, or I may have been looked at a different way. But I really feel like when you have the knowledge, it's just undeniable. You know what I mean? It's kind of something where when you have it, you have it, and whether other people are going to appreciate it or not, you know, that's kind of their problem. But there will be somebody out there that will appreciate the knowledge that you bring and what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
I love how you said pro-Black, because it's like, why can't we just, just be that without there having to be that title? Like, that's just a part of who you are, because you're proud of who you are and your background. And then it reminded me of a tweet I read earlier. This guy has said, oh, there's another Black person working in his office. And then he was like, we had a conversation. And then he said, I'm still the only Black person working here.
And that, listen, I have felt that before. Even being at the barn where there are other Black people, I've still been the only Black girl. And sometimes it comes across as being a B word or being aggressive or something like that. But no, it's just really me being myself and just standing for what I stand for. And there's a certain line that you can cross with me, and there's other ones that you cannot. So, I think that it's really important for Black people to kind of posture themselves in that way, where it's not necessarily aggressive, but we are who we are, and we are, filling this space. We're in this space, and we need to be appreciated for who we are as Black people.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I experienced that in the workplace, and I haven't really had that like around horses per se, simply because like I'm not, like if I go to a show, I'm not there, like I don't have a trainer, I'm just doing it on my own. So so that my interactions with people are very limited. Like I'll go show and then I go back to my trailer, like that's it. But at the trail rides and stuff, it's funny because I feel like it's like the opposite for me. And I don't know if it's like the way that I talk or whatever, because I can see people like change around me a little bit. Like, oh yeah, she, and I'm like, what? Like, I can't help that I pronounce all my words. Do you know who my mama is? Like, she definitely Black, and I still gotta pronounce all my words. So I feel you on that, and I think it's just having the integrity of knowing who you are and being comfortable, like in your own skin. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I have had instances where I have been like, I feel like one of the instances that I had at the endurance race that I went to was definitely targeted because I was a Black person. And it definitely hurt my standings in that race. But it's hard because it's like there's no way to really prove that, But I do feel like there are times where I have been racially profiled and things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like it's kind of like we do have to work twice as hard, and it's not fair. But horses are what I love, so I do what I can.
Yeah. Insert that tweet you sent me today.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It was, wasn't that Omarosa?
Girl, I don't know who that was.
I think it was Omarosa because I saw the other tweets, but she was saying she was being interviewed by a white woman and was like, yeah, you can walk in this space and be mediocre and you would still get accolades, but I have to be twice as good to just gain entry,
Exactly.
And the crowd was like, ooh. I'm like,
right.
And they were
no, like she was not trying to slay her. She was just saying the truth.
And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. And so, there are different ways that Black people choose to approach that, and some conform. I know a guy that he is a completely different type of Black person. He's got a whole new accent and everything else because he's working with horses, and it appeals to white people when he acts that way. So there's some people that go that route, but for me, it's really important for me to be true to myself. And, I don't want people getting comfortable around me. I've had people where they, feel comfortable enough to start seeing the N word around me. And for me, it's just not okay. I just,
Never
what I mean? So, I try and set the bar high to where, no, Michelle doesn't tolerate that. Come correct. And, we just go from there.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to fight a little bit harder for your respect than something that would be automatically given to other people. So I feel you on that for sure. Next question is, how has riding affected your life?
Oh man. I would say, especially as a teenager, it definitely gave me an outlet to burn some of that energy off. When I was a teenager, I wouldn't say it was a rough childhood, but I was definitely an angsty teen. And going to the barn and working, not even just the act of riding, but just spending time with horses and being responsible for horses definitely changed my life. I'm a more responsible person. I'm a more problem-solving person. I don't really play the victim a lot, which is great. I feel like that's a characteristic that most horse people have, is they don't really play the victim. They're very solutions-driven. So I think that I'm that way. But also just when I was younger, just the freedom of just being able to ride a horse and the confidence it gave me. And that has gone into my life now. But I could definitely say when I was a child, it was super, super important.
Yeah. All of those things are like instrumental in, building a successful adult, having responsibility and having that self-esteem.
Right.
That we know. I mean, many of our interviewees have said the same thing. Like it builds confidence, and I mean, it's consistent. Like literally everybody experiences that.
Yeah. And I would say, like, especially for women, I've noticed that women are, I've always said that dogs are a man's best friend. Horses are usually a girl's best friend. And something about being a horse woman, just especially dating wise, it just makes you like a whole different type of woman.
True.
Like, horse people just don't take BS. Like,
no, none of that.
It's like, no, like if I can get my butt up at 5 o'clock in the morning and feed the whole barn and, do everything else, I don't need a man for anything really. I just want you. I don't need you.
It sets our standards higher because we do a lot on our own with the horses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I had to explain to my friend, like I am not trying to like demasculate you or anything like that. It's just like I know how to do it, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask you to open this jar of pickles if I can open it. Like I just picked it up and I can open it.
Right. Yeah. And it's very much like, let me do it. Like, it's, the guy tries to open the pickle and it's just like, wait a second, like, let me try it.
Yeah.
Right. I can do
that. Yeah. That's what I've noticed with horse women in general.
That is the truth. I'm gonna make that into a sound bite.
It's the truth.
Your mom thought this love for horses was gonna go away with a few pets. Tell her she better be glad you stuck with it.
She is. She's so glad. And I mean, honestly, Darylyn is like my second mom. So she really, Darylyn helped raise me. So she's so grateful for just the community. They say it takes a village, and that was my community, so absolutely. I think she's very happy with how it turned out. So I was a handful. So
is your mom still in Houston?
She's still in Houston, still in the same house.
Oh,
cool. I think all of our parents live in the same house that we grew up in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm grateful for that because the barn is still 5 minutes away. So every time I see her, I go to the barn.
Yeah. Does your sister catch the bug at all?
No, and I tried so hard. She she went riding once when I was really young, and I think she was like allergic, and so so she hated it. And then she went back. I took her back for a birthday, and she had a good time. She fell off, but she had a good time, and she hasn't come back since. So I don't think
it's not adding up in her favor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I don't think it's her thing. So.
No, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Everybody's got their own thing.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to aspiring equestrians?
Get out there. You have to find a place that's going to work for you, and you have to work hard. So it's if you don't have the money, if you're not, someone that has the money for taking a lesson every week, or, just paying for a horse in general, then just understand that you're going to have to work hard, no matter what you do, whether it's working harder in lessons because you can only get one every 2 weeks, or physically working harder as far as like being a working student or a volunteer like I was. But it's a hard journey, but find a community that you fit in so they can make it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sound advice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So another reason why we have linked up with Michelle is because we also have a passion for natural hair and natural hair.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, kind of segue into our hair and helmets series. So the first video of the series was just like a vlog of me going to Dover and getting fitted for a helmet, and it was like
it made me so tired. I was like, ooh.
I know. I was like, let me just speed this video up because it was exhausting. I was like, y'all,
it's so realistic. Like that's what we go through. That's what happens.
Yeah. And I mean, just trial and error, and she tried to put a
the hairnet thing.
Yeah, the hairnet on, and she's like, so I have my hair in a ponytail, and she's like, no, you put the hairnet on first, and then you fold it up. And I was like,
girl, bye.
My hair don't fold. I look like Sonic the Hedgehog. My hair was sticking out like this. I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work. I'm glad I didn't buy it. Like,
and first of all, don't fold my wash and go.
Right. I was like, how is it that my hair is supposed to fold up in the helmet? Like,
yes.
All this can't fit.
Worse.
Yeah.
It's not gonna fit that way.
Like,
wasn't working.
So it took me understanding what I needed my hair to be looking like, and her understanding what she was gonna have to work with for us to finally come to a happy medium. And I'm happy with my hair. Like, I have no problem wearing this helmet now.
Awesome.
Like, I can have a bun. I can have my hair like this, and I just smush it, just
awesome. Yeah.
And then tighten it down, and I still feel secure. So I'm very thankful for that. But we also wanted to just talk about like different styles that you could wear, because I mean, obviously when I take the helmet off, my hair just crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, what are some of the styles that you usually wear when you are going riding?
Well, this is definitely one of them. I live in this hairstyle. It's literally just like a flat twist, and then it's like a little fold over bun. It's not even like a fancy one. It's just a little fold over bun back there. But I live in this hairstyle because, like you said, sometimes when we have our hair loose, it looks really pretty, and it may even fit in the helmet. But once we take it off, it's a whole different story. So this one kind of stays put. I don't really have to worry about the flat twist too much. The bun is simple, so if it does get like smushed, I just take it down real quick, fluff it out, redo it. So I live in this hairstyle. I'm always like this. Yeah.
And I used to too, honestly. And I usually, for my week, I'll just do like single 2 strands for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. And
then take it out and just do a twist out for however many days. This one's really old. Like, I need to probably wash it today. Well, thanks. Oh my God. I went to do a reading today to some kids and I held the book up and I was like, it's Cowgirl Cameron and the Crazy Hair Day. And the little boy was like, that girl looked just like you. And
Oh my gosh.
Where your mom at? You gotta go.
Right. I was just like,
He was using his context clues. He was making observations.
Yeah. You know, kids
Okay.
are good for
Trying
that.
to put 2 and 2 together.
I know. I'm like, okay, little kid.
Yeah.
What's your
Kids are
name?
good for observations. Yeah.
That's funny.
But I died.
Brown, you're brown.
But yeah, so I am down for the flat twist. I sometimes will do them like all the way, like one. I guess there's like 4 of them, I think.
Yeah.
And then rocking a bun is always a good option. But even I'll do like not a French braid, I guess French twist, like the 2 of them down. I would say those are kind of my go-tos if I've actually planned like my life and I know.
Same.
Really,
Same. So it sounds like our hairstyles are like really, really similar in what we do for writing, because that's literally what I live in. And it's so important natural hair wise, because I did go through a period of time where I was wearing my hair loose in my helmet, and I started experiencing like breakage on the sides because my helmet has Velcro in it, like the little liner and everything has Velcro, and I just yank it off my head. And I was doing trail rides all day, so I was putting it on, yanking it off. So after a while, it took a toll on my hair. So for now, I've just experienced that I have much better retention, leaf retention, when I have my ends put away or when it's tucked in a bun or something, and not so vulnerable to all that Velcro and stuff in there. But we should really make like a silk liner or something.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yes.
It will suck all the moisture out of your hair, wearing those helmets, padding in it and all of that.
Yeah,
I still
that's a
haven't
good
thought about
point.
how to do it, so I don't know. Like, I guess like Velcro on the other side and like stick it on there. I haven't. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wear my bonnet to the bonnet and just like put the helmet on top of the bonnet.
Yeah.
If you bring your bonnet, it comes down, because Tristan used to do that. And it'll be like bonnet.
Like a mushroom.
Exactly.
On the bottom. Well, honestly, it might be even something as simple as let me go get my thing I sleep in. It's not a bonnet here. So this, I don't even know what this is.
Okay, so a scarf.
Yeah, it's like a scarf, but it ties around the top.
Yeah.
So even if it was something like that, not with this much material, I got a big one because I had braids, like extensions. I don't even know what it's called.
I had a friend, she used to wear something similar to that. So I don't know if you guys have seen like the doctors, when they go to operate, they wear like those skull caps, and they're kind of similar to that. So they're smaller and they have like almost shoestring style ribbons. But I had a friend, she would wear that, but it wasn't silk. It was just a cotton one. I think she was wearing it for like sweat protection. If it was silk, that could be something.
Can y'all see what this says?
Cameron's BFF.
How, Sway?
Serendipity.
That's funny.
That just blew my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if it was something like this, like just for riding, or maybe like the back of it was out so that you could kind of tuck the ends, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, that might be $1 million idea.
Let me write that on my sticky note.
There you go.
I know, right? YBE on everything. We giving everybody the credit.
Hey, that's a good idea, especially if it was like YBE branded. Pretty good.
See, you know what? All right. Anyway, so let's see. So Caitlin, I just want you to share your experience with your locks, because we talked to one person. Yeah, one person. Yeah, she has sister locks, and she doesn't wear helmets all the time per se, but she did say it was much better as far as dealing with humidity and keeping her cowgirl hat on and all that. So would you have the same?
So when I got my first helmet, I had an afro, and that just looked crazy. That looked crazy if I didn't twist it up. So when I transitioned to locks, you know how in the beginning they're kind of really thin. So it was just like I just put it on. It didn't really matter. But now they're thicker. They're like much, much thicker. So when I put my helmet on, which I probably need to get a new one, it's really tight. And I just had to put my hair in like a low ponytail. Because if I just let it hang, it looks crazy. Like all the locks are just sticking out like that. Because it's so tight here, and then the locks are just like this.
Yeah.
So I have the thing like you have, Aubriana, that you can screw it to tighten it in the back.
Yes.
And I had to use that part. But yeah, there's not like a style that I can do, because I feel like if I put barrel twist in it or something,
It'll be too thick.
Yeah. Thick. So just a low ponytail or let it hang down, but that looks crazy if I just let it hang down.
So that's interesting. You have a similar dial on your helmet as I do, and it helps so much. I think you'll see it in the video. I have a little dial on the back of my helmet as well, and I love that because I stick my bun, and then I put the dial part around my neck here, and it makes it nice and tight. It doesn't wobble around. So, and that's helped because sometimes when I do have like braids and things like that, I don't need it so tight, so I can just let it out. So that's been helpful as well.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I found out when looking for the helmets. Like I had a Tipperary, and I was like, ooh, that's fancy. And it fit, like I could put it on my head, but it wasn't comfortable. It was a little tight, like right here. And by that time I'm like, I feel like I'm about to pass out. Like whatever this pressure point is like hurting. But having that flexibility of the adjustable back, whether it be Troxel or whatever brand, I think is more helpful. Say somebody else wants to ride and you want them to wear a helmet also, you don't have just one size, because one size doesn't fit all.
Right.
But I like the point that y'all made about the foam drying your hair out, because that's what it is it's supposed to wick the moisture. But two, making sure that you have enough in there, so that the Velcro doesn't start snagging your hair. Because I've made that mistake also. Like the way that the helmet was at the very top of it, like I felt like my head wasn't getting to the very top, so I just ignored the fact that there was no Velcro, and that thing snags so much. So
need for that's something else I wonder, because say if I were still riding, if I still had my afro and then I were to put that on my helmet, my afro between my actual head, my skull, and then the afro and then the helmet, there's like all that space that's right there, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, did they think about anybody else?
Right.
Did they test these with dummies that have hair?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's about like the shape of the helmet, which I didn't realize there was two shapes. There's like a circular shape and the oval shape. And then there's like depth to it, whether it's really deep and you can kind of sit it down and it goes all the way to the back of your neck. Not that low, but like right here. Or if it's like an egg cut the long way, like shallow and just a circle, and it's just supposed to sit, and then it's all the way up here.
Right.
So I think it also depends on the type of helmet, because the one I have now, like I when I smush it down, I can feel it on the back of my head. Like I don't have that much space. Like you were mentioning, like a cone helmet, but it's snug. Like it doesn't hurt, but I can feel it all the way around.
I definitely think the burden lies on the consumer. You have to make sure that you have a properly fitting helmet. If there's a lot of space in there, the people at State Line Tack or whatever, they'll help you, but really the burden is on yourself. You have to make sure that you have something that's fitting good, and when you go in to try on a helmet, try it on in a hairstyle that you're probably going to be riding in. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys with short hair don't have these issues.
I know, right? Men don't have half the issues that women do.
Yeah.
Golly. Their biggest issue is, oh my God, I gotta wear breeches.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on now. But anywho, all right, Michelle, is there any other gems you would like to share with the YBE community? I know we're gonna have you on again, but anything you can think of that you would want to share to the people?
Yeah, so I was just thinking about the liners as well, and I have a Troxel helmet. My Troxel helmet has something called a flip fold liner that really helps out a lot as well. It's kind of shaped like a rectangle, and if you need something that's a little closer fitting, you just fold down the rectangle and it'll be more fabric, so it's snugger on the sides. If you need something not as snug, you just unfold it and it's looser. So even finding different helmet liners can definitely help with fit.
And you can buy those separately, right?
You can buy those separately. So let's say if you have a Tipperary helmet, but you can't make it fit. I don't know if Tipperary has different liners or anything like that have flip fold or any type of features like that, but you can get a Troxel liner, and it has flip fold.
Yeah, that's a good point. Awesome. Well, I think the next time we'll have you on, we'll talk about like actual hair care, as far as, moisture and conditioning and all that, because I feel like a lot of times we horse people, period, neglect ourselves when it comes to our horses.
So true.
So in the name of self-care, we'll chat a little bit more about, maintaining and, length retention, stuff like that, stuff people care about. So, yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today and taking time out of your day to chat.
Yes, thank y'all so much for having me. I appreciate it so much.
And we are going to have some of Michelle's little tutorials on our page as well, so that you can see exactly how she achieves the styles that she mentioned today in her interview.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians. Head over to our YouTube channel under the Lifestyle playlist and check out Michelle's natural hair videos for styles to wear when wearing a helmet. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. What kind of styles do you wear when you wear a helmet? See you guys next week.